Glad I got the earplugs on. That'll do. That will do. God knows how that sounded for you guys. What? What? This was the one car that got a slight introduction in one video, but it has a great story behind it. So I'm going to dig into it and let you guys know all about it. So we're here at DRT, Andy.
Hello.
He's been busy over the last couple of weeks. We've been annoying him. So this is more conventional 1J setup than the last one we sent down here, which was a full-on NASCAR. But this is a JZX90 that I bought after a few drinks in Ebisu in Japan, which I now don't regret. Usually everything I do when I've had a few drinks I regret, but this I don't. James Cruz, an Irish guy who was working for Andy in Power Vehicles. Power Vehicles are based out of Ebisu and they're very famous. They export cars all over the world. You guys, if you're into Japanese cars, will know who they are. He told me about this car that he's putting together for probably 2 or 3 years. Now, what he was doing was taking a lot of fancy bits that he had seen on other JZXs that had come through and rare parts. And he'd also been kind of working away in the evenings on it, so he's taking his time with it. But he was moving out of Power Vehicles. He wanted the car to go to a good home and be finished off to a high standard. And the problem with this car, Andy, is that everything from here has to be done to a high standard because what he's done is pretty incredible up to this point. Like, he's put a lot of time into this thing.
And credit to him, everything is bang on point. Like, it's, as far as, like, I know there's a lot of bolt-on stuff, it's a done recipe. But he's kind of tweaked it a bit and used his own bits, and you can tell, I suppose, that he's done it as a labour of love because you can see he's put a lot of thought into the way he's ran and stuff, and it's just top notch. Like.
So everything that's in here is pretty much the best of the best stuff you can get for a JZX90. 2 things that was left on the car to do were pipework and wiring. Obviously our guy Ryan at Vital Fabrication, when everything else was going on, madness, behind the scenes at some of the Drift Masters events, he did the pipework on the car. So he did all of the intercooler piping and the turbo piping and the exhaust. Now, while this car is really cool, and I mentioned it's a little clean, but it is all midnight purple metal flake under the bonnet. The car on the outside is not painted. That's the last thing we're going to do. But in the last video, we showed you everything on the outside, which is all this Kazama Auto stuff and BN stuff, which is really, really cool. What I didn't get to do was show you underneath the car, which is actually probably more impressive than the top of the car. So we're going to raise on the ramp and show you how much work has actually gone into this car already. It almost looks like it's a brand new car underneath. The shell, I don't think I've ever seen a JZX with less marks, rust, dings, even the jacking points, everything is almost absolutely perfect.
No, we had a JZX100 here last year with 30,000 kilometers on it. I don't think it was as clean as this.
This is like insane.
It's new.
All the arms are brand new IKEA formula. It's got all of the strut bars. You can see Ryan did an amazing job on the pipework. He even said that he wouldn't have spent so long on it, only for the rest of the car was so clean. We got our external screamer here coming down below. And as you can see, the exhaust that Ryan did is absolutely spot on. Even the gearbox, that's a brand new R154 from Toyota. That has not even got 1 kilometer on it. All been perfectly sealed. The most impressive thing I think most people will see is all the hard lines underneath. Like, this is something that took a very long time to do. You can see how well it's been put together. Even fuel pressure regulators, everything is AN fittings where it needs to be. Like, this is built to be a very high horsepower, reliable car. You can see on the back end, fully rebuilt differential on it, all brand new arms in it as well. And then Ryan did a super nice exhaust here, keeping it tight to the body. And we put a turn down tip on the end because I just thought it looked quite cool. So like, pretty much when it comes to pipework, when it comes to the hardware in the car, it's actually nearly there. Everything is kind of there. But because it's so fancy and I want it to be absolutely perfect, I got 2 very, very special deliveries which are going to make this thing from a non-roller to a roller. So the biggest problem when you have it, this car is a 1996, so you've put all brand new everything into the car, but to manage all that, this car is going to make quite a bit of horsepower. We're obviously going to turn to one of our main partners on the channel, which is Link ECU, and upgrade everything from ECU. We're going to put a Fury X in this, which is probably the right ECU to put in it. So got enough functionality for what we need to do. This is a street car, not a drift car, so we could push a lot higher to the G5, but probably unnecessary amount of work for what we want to kind of do with this. And because the car will still have central locking, Bluetooth, stereo, and still want to be very much a road car that starts easy, drives easy. This is kind of the perfect setup for that by modernizing all of the electronics, right?
Yeah, well look, the loom in it was 30 years old, like, so all 30-year-old wiring is going to be brittle, it's going to be heat soaked, it's going to be all them things. Plus it never would have had fuel pressure regulation, never would have had oil pressure sensors, so if something happened, unless it went bang, you're not going to know. Whereas now with the Link, we've got full boost control, we've got our pressure sensors, we've got a built-in map sensor now for our board. That's going to take control of everything, so you don't need to think about what issues you might have. This is going to take control of it for you, so you can just enjoy driving the car, and God forbid you do have an issue, Link's going to take control of it.
Yeah, this is the bit that I can't stress this enough. This stuff has saved us more money than we'll ever invest in it, because the amount of engines that we've had that have something go like a fuel pump, something stop, you know, oil pressure drop. Instantly the car cuts off, it shuts down, or it goes into limp mode because of the Link, meaning that you might be frustrated at the time, but then when you realize what the actual problem was, you've saved your engine, you've probably saved all the bits of the engine going through the turbo, you've saved a lot of hardware problems by having good software.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd frustration. A car may have a shutdown, they might, you know, have issues at track day. I even had it with my own car the weekend where I had an oil pressure issue. Came in and I was kind of frustrated that it was after having a misfire or whatever. But then I realised I was after saving a 20 grand engine.
Yeah.
I'd take a misfire any day.
And like, if you look at the original ECUs in these cars, you think about technology, right? Think about what a phone looked like in 1996, and think about what an iPhone does now. That's the difference in technology from what's running your car to something like this. And also, my new favorite thing in the world is these Link CAN gauges. So it's a gauge that does all the gauges in one. So it's a digital gauge, but you can program it to show you multiple screens. So you could keep it on, say, what I had at the weekend on the S14 was like oil pressure and water temperature, for example. And you can watch those two and it'll flash when they go high. But this basically is like a full digital display of everything that's going on in the ECU without having to go to the full dash. The dash is really cool, but sometimes I quite like that old school JDM style inside, you know, with the brides and the whole dash being a normal dash. Also, you still have your mileage on the car and all that stuff. So this is a really, like, it's very subtle. You can just put it somewhere and you can check everything through that. So that's definitely, I think, the option for the inside of this car, because everything else is very Japan, like everything else is, you know, you got your Nardi, you got your brides, you got everything in there. That's kind of the look we wanted to go with.
It's like a modern version of the Defi gauges.
But all of them in one gauge, which is cool. And if you want to buy Defi gauges, this one is much cheaper than buying 3 Defi gauges, and it does a lot more. So we're going to try and get all of this in, and Andy's going to work on the loom. But I have one more, even more special package, because it's special because we didn't even know we were getting it until a week ago. It's in the boot of my car, so I'm going to grab it now. The shiny bits now, Craig. So this box is from America, and just after, obviously, the unfortunate fire in the HQ, I got an email out of the blue from Chase at Chase Base. Did you know the guy who owns Chase Base, his name is actually Chase? That's a good name for a drift company. So basically he said, would you guys have a project coming up that you would want to use some of our products on? Now, we use Chase Base stuff in the past. We've used them on the Corvette, we used them on the SRMX5, and we have them in the new Supra as well. So they sent me some real nice goodies in this box, which I don't even know what's in it. Between myself, Craig, and Andrew, we want to figure out what it is. Ooh. Power steering rails, that looks nice. Man, that looks so good. It's a brake booster? Yep. Man, this stuff looks so cool, and it's adjustable too. I've been wanting one of these for so long. This is a Chase Base hydraulic handbrake. So it's like, you can put it here, or you can put it here, but this is where I wanted it because it looks old school, right? Look at the quality of that. Can you see that? That's probably the nicest handbrake I've ever seen. Then we got some lines, which I assume are for the handbrake. These ones aren't for a handbrake. These ones are a little bit power steering.
Oh, you're giving away all the hints, Craig.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't going to tell you.
Craig's on my team.
Yeah, I'm struggling here.
Power steering lines. The clutch.
You're getting there. What needs to go into the clutch to make it work?
Fluid.
Yeah. We're joining the dots here, Dave.
This is for bleeding the clutch fluid.
No, it's for holding the clutch. You fill that bottle in so you can mount it remotely to have your fluid.
Oh, that's very cool.
Get your fluid away from the heat.
And it looks awesome as well. Oh, I'm going to struggle here now, I think.
No hints, Craig. No hints.
So is this for the handbrake?
No, the cylinder is in the handbrake, Dave.
That's a good point. So this must be something to do with brakes.
Will I give you a hint?
Yeah, for the clutch.
Ah,
There we go.
matching pair.
So it's a matching pair for the clutch. Again, I'm learning. I should really know more about this stuff. This is something to do with water?
Yeah.
So this is a water...
That's your upper water neck. So the JZs have that big old school aluminium neck, and then you can put in your extra sensors and put on, if you want, you can screw that out and put on an AN fitting. So if you want your nice AN lines and stuff, just brightens up the bay no end.
That is super cool. So that's going to sit and replace like that old Toyota kind of crusty aluminium stuff.
Old aluminium.
It's very cool. Man, this thing is going to look so good with all this stuff on it. Let me see what this is. Oh no, this looks confusing. I've had a look at the Chase Base catalog, and this is a power steering cooler, which it looks very, very neat. Because usually people will run like almost like oil coolers as power steering coolers. Yeah. This one is designated, which looks really, really cool. So, bunch of Link stuff, bunch of Chase Base stuff, now going to get thrown at the car. I would say this car is probably about 80% there now, but the guys here at DRT are going to get it 100% finished. We then want to get it to the dyno, see what power it makes, get it driving reliably, and then the last thing we're going to do is paint the car. Alright guys, we've got some confessions to make. It's been a busy summer. You guys have watched on the channel, we've been to so many events, from Drift Masters Riga, Hungary, we've been to IDC, we've been everywhere. It's been absolutely wild, almost every single weekend between Germany and Iron Drift King and everything. Everything has been very busy, and we really wanted to keep on top of my dream JZX90 build from the start. However, if we were to wait until now, the guys here at DRT and Lloyd Patterson would be also waiting, and nothing would have been done. And the LZ World Tour is fast approaching, and I want to reveal this car at the show. And a lot has happened in the last few weeks, which is great because we get to come here and see all the amazing work they've done, and everything's kind of in the car now. And today we're hoping to take it to the dyno. But before we do, I want to show you there's a lot, including paint. Everything has been done on this car. So we're going to get Andy to talk us through what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. So the last time you'll have seen us, we were here like kids on Christmas, unboxing all of our Chase Base stuff, all of our Link ECU stuff, and now all of that stuff is in the car. Andy, where did we start and what did we do? And it looks unbelievable.
Yeah, look, working with the quality of parts definitely helped. It's like you said in the last time you were down here, everything had to match how tidy it's been done so far.
James Cruz, who worked for Power Vehicles in Japan, that's who I bought the car off, had been 2 years putting together nut and bolts, so he'd been really meticulous about making everything really nice. So then if we come along and then slap a load of stuff together at the end, it kind of ruined all the work that he'd done and all the time and effort he's put in. So everything then became about perfection as opposed to just make it run. Yeah. So as you can see, I mean, this is tidier than some of the drift cars we've built, to be fair, and it is a street car. So we'll just rewind a little bit. Ryan Morton, Vital Fabrication, did our beautiful pipework and exhaust on the car. Then we got it down here to Andy, and then it was about fitting the Link ECU stuff and all of our Chase Base stuff, which has made a massive difference not only to the performance, which we'll get into, but how it all looks under here, right?
It came with a JZX loom, which is fine, but it's 35 years old. Put it in there, it's going to stand out like a sore thumb. So we made a full custom loom, all rake hem wire, just so that we can get in, you can see yourself, it just doesn't stand out unless you go looking for it. You know, we can modify it for the Volkswagen coils, you know, your map sensor, your oil pressure, fuel pressure. So you've got your safety features already built in now. It's just a nice touch to go with everything new, you know, it's all new wires, new connectors, new everything. So you know you've got reliability now. You're not waiting for 30-year-old wiring to come back and bite you.
Well, that's what we didn't want because everything is so fresh and so new. All the Chase Base stuff is now in the car. We'll talk through that when we get to sort of testing and performance as well on the car. We don't actually know what power this car is going to make, right? Because Lloyd said this is kind of a newer turbo kit than some of these would come in with usually.
A lot of the stuff you'll see will come in will have a TDO6 25G, that's the T67, so it's going to make good power. I'm suspecting somewhere around the 500 mark. Yes, it might be a little bit laggier than a more conventional turbo, but in a road car you're not chasing that instant power.
To be honest with you, I wanted it laggy, and I know this sounds really stupid, but I like that feeling when you kind of get that whoo, and then you go. So this is all about having fun on the streets and having a car that's lively, fun, makes all the right noises, but then when you want to just cruise along, everything is nut and bolt tight, it's not rattling around, it's not doing anything. So this is, again, as I said, trying to build my perfect JZX, and for me, I've fallen in love with the 1JZ over the last 2 or 3 years with some of the different builds we've done. This is the nicest one we've ever put on the dyno, I think. We've fallen in love with the chassis because it's nice and very comfortable and be able to do some drift days in it. And now it's purple sparkles in the engine bay. Everybody in the last video was talking about the paint, right? What paint do we do? Well, we took the car down to Joey O'Neill. We're doing it in 2 stages, so there's a clever way of doing it. We got the shell painted so that when it came back here, we could still work away on the car exposed to make sure everything mechanically works. And then the last stage would be to bolt all the panels on. So he has all those panels. If you guys are going to put a little, Josh will put a little reminder of how cool the car looks on its Kazam Auto and BN kits and stuff. The paint, Josh. You didn't know what we were going with here, but here is the colour. Now she's a little dusty at the moment because she was sitting in the shed, but this is the colour. Now from the camera it probably looks pretty straightforward.
I was going to say, you can't really tell from the camera, so apologies for that.
You're going to need the panels on to see what this is. So, what colour is it? A lot of people said purple. A lot of these JZX90s have been done in purple, black, white, grey. I wanted it to be a little bit. There's 2 reasons I went with this colour. One, the kit's so wide and so mad that I wanted it to be a lighter colour so you could see all the shape of the car and how aggressive it is. And I wanted it to be kind of bright. I didn't want it to be too dark. So we didn't go midnight purple or any of that. Then we looked at another couple of different colours that were like yellows and orange. It's just too much of a big car for me to have a very bright colour on it. So what this is, it's called Silicone Silver and it's from the brand new Land Rover Defender. Don't ask me how I know that. I just saw one and I said that colour is amazing, and you can't see it on camera, but it's actually a flip metallic between silver, grey and kind of like a champagne. You're not going to see it here with all the dust and you're not going to see it without all the panels on, but trust me, it's a very unusual colour. And the reason I painted that colour is because I wanted people to say, hey, that's Drift Games JZX90, not just any JZX90. That's why I wanted to go with something a little bit different. So right now it looks kind of similar to the JZX100 you can see over there.
That's a bit of a coincidence there, isn't it?
We didn't plan this, it's just sitting there, but it's actually quite different. So when you see all the panels on this, and that's the next stage before we bolt it all back together, including the interior and everything, that's the next stage of when you're going to see that colour pop. But today isn't about the colour, today isn't about the fanciness, today is about putting that Link ECU on the computer, putting Lloyd on the dyno, and our favourite days, Josh, when all of it comes together and we get to hear some noise and get to see what this thing can do power-wise. 500 is the goal. I think that's more than enough for a street car, but you never know, could surprise us. But either way, it's going to be loud, it's going to be pops, it's going to be bangs, it's going to be flames, and I'm excited.
Love that sword swish of the clutch there. Okay, first power run, see roughly where we're going to be at. Ooh, sounds good. Hopefully we're going to go up from there anyways. Okay, so everything's been warmed up, there's no leaks or anything like that, so I think from this point on, Lloyd is going to start pushing it. So now we'll see where it really stands. Wow! I think we're still under the 400 range.
Early days.
It's the pops and bangs, they're the one that are taking the extra 100 horsepower.
When we start seeing some flames, we know she's being pushed.
Oh, we're getting closer.
So we ended up with 456 horsepower, and Lloyd is saying that's where she's happy. Lloyd, any higher than that and it's starting to get a little bit detonaty.
Yeah, on pump fuel it is. So like for the sake of extra, there's not a huge gain, so I just turned the boost back a little bit. We could have put octane booster and stuff in it to try and keep the power. Then that's something you'd have to remember every time you drive it. Not forget the octane booster.
I'm a man of convenience, so I don't want to have to put different fuel, mixed fuel. This is just going to be a road car that I can drive around in. So I think I'm very happy with that, and it sounds good too. Like it sounds really nice at that power, so I'm really happy with it. However,
could sound better.
However, one thing we do have in this car, which is great because we have the Link ECU now plugged in, we have e-throttle. So most old Toyotas won't have e-throttle. E-throttle only came in. When did e-throttle really come in, like as a thing? Probably
early 2000s.
Early 2000s. So now we've basically got the opportunity to give it a bit more spice, if we want. We have a switch for this, Lloyd, right?
We do, yeah.
We've got a switch. So we're gonna have a madness switch. And to be honest with you, power's all well and good, but you never really cane the car too much. What I like is that you can turn it on, have a little bit of madness, and then turn it off again, which makes it like a modern car where you can like close the valves. So no valves to close, but we can give it. There's so much good stuff in this car. I want to kind of hear it be a bit more aggressive. So Lloyd has given me that smile, which I know is the smile of get some earplugs. We're about to send this thing to the moon.
Lloyd doesn't like doing pops and bangs that much, but you know how you make him do it?
You wouldn't put pops and bangs. You wouldn't put pops and bangs on it. You wouldn't even know how to, Lloyd.
You may ring Ryan and tell him I just blew up his exhaust.
Don't blow up Ryan's exhaust. He's very proud of that exhaust.
We may need some earplugs for this.
Usually we'd try and be a bit hardy about this, but I have a feeling we need these.
It has flames, that's always a good sign.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Glad I got the earplugs on.
That'll do. That will do. Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you, Link.
God knows how that sounded for you guys.
What? What? So the car is now mapped and we have a switch for anti-lag and launch control and all that good stuff. So the Link ECU with the e-throttle allowing us to do that. Lloyd, as always, amazing job. And in the last, 10-15 minutes, he just got, for some reason, stuck on trying to make the speedo clocks go 0 to full to back, right? That is so cool. For no reason.
For no reason. But
There's blue backlights in the
blue backlights in it. But these are things you can do with the Link, so you can just set it up. And like the speedo, I've calibrated the speedo from the dyno, so it's actually accurate.
Brilliant. So it's not like sometimes a lot of drift cars you have no speedo, you just have nothing working. But this, because it's going to be a street car, has everything working now and more.
Yeah, like factory coolant temp gauge, everything works as it left the factory, and then you'll have to add in of the can gauge for the other things that the factory dash doesn't show you.
It's awesome, man. I'm getting kind of impatient now to put it all back together. I really want to drive it. We're a little concerned about the front wheel fitment on the wings, but we're going to try and get
the fact that they don't turn.
It's a minor issue.
There's a slight, surprisingly, with these tires this big, yeah.
Like from seeing this car now in a container in Ebisu, which would no pipe work, no wiring, no nothing, it now is a running driving car 10 months later. I remember like 4 months of that was at sea, so we're doing okay. We're doing okay, and we've been busy. The boys here at DRT Automotive did an amazing job, as always, as expected. And now it looks good, sounds good, should drive good. We just have a last bit of buttoning up to do, and then she will be a complete car. Alright, so this is our first time seeing the car. So just to rewind, I bought the car in the dark last November, or late October, early November. And this was the dream, to get it to this point. Obviously James, who owned the car previously to me, wanted me to get it to this point as well. It's really dusty, we're going to put some water on it, we're going to give it a proper once over. There's still 101 things I want to do before the end of this video to get it actually 100% perfect. But it looks unbelievable. Looks unbelievable. Right, so we just gave it a quick once dust off, I guess. Joey has a couple of little pieces here and there that he just wants to touch up over the weekend. Then we're going to grab it, bring it back to Wayne's. There's a list of like 100 things we need to tighten up on the car, and then she should be done. We need to give it a once over with all our Sonax products because the interior is dusty and it has been sitting in the port and sitting everywhere else. So we've got a new steering wheel, new different things we want to do. So hopefully by the end of this episode, me, Craig and Josh will go at it, and Wayne, and have this car fully functional, fully working, on the road, and finito. We got another, what, day at it? Day 2 maybe? Maybe 3?
There's always another day, it seems.
There's always another day. But it's so worth it. The car looks unbelievable. I'm so happy with it. And Joey just absolutely killed it on his colours. Think putting a 2022 Land Rover Defender colour on a 1996 Toyota. But it works really, really well. I'm really happy with the choice. Just looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Right, let's get this thing loaded up and then let's get it finished. Right, so we're back at the shed and we've got Craig and Trev here. So the idea is the car is pretty dirty. We're going to use the full Sonax range to get this thing looking on the inside as good as it looks on the outside. And then we have tons of little issues like wipers. The boot is still full of all the cables from the container. There's little parts everywhere. So the idea now is to just give it that last, I don't think it'll be finished, but to give it that last 10% to make it a functional car.
Right, so we have Trev here. That is our fully qualified Sonax detailer. What are we starting with, Trev?
We're starting today with a multi.
Oh, hang on a second. This is the Pro line.
This is the Pro line, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a pro.
Did you make it to the professionals?
Don't tell him. I have certificates and all. We're just going with an Active Foam Energy just to take all the grime off the car.
Trev, never swear on this channel again.
I got my haters sick, someone put them out their misery. Nikki, how you get on? I don't know, it's a mystery. Hold on, is you kidding me? I'm all up in their head and I ain't paying a renter's fee. You're saying one thing, but I could tell by your energy. Fake love in my face, but you were real life. And I ain't like a man. Tell them put the money in my hand when I land. It ain't always been sweet, but I've been sticking to the plan. Could be my one tonight, but I ain't looking for romance.
So today does actually mark the end of summer, and well, Ireland is showing us it is the end of summer because it is minging. It's not rained for about 2 months and now it's hammering it down. So let's get this thing inside and fully detailed. And in just a few minutes the interior looks sweet, and also Craig has put in a Grip Royale steering wheel, which they sent us a care package after the fire and everything, sort of Grip Royale stuff went. They sent us a load of wheels, so slowly and steadily put them in all of our cars, but we haven't really built that much since. But thank you to Grip Royale for always sorting us out. They honestly make incredible custom wheels, so I'm going to put a link down below so you can check out all of their stuff.
I remember when all I had was $1 in a dream. Now I live this life and it ain't always what it seems. I'm built different, got that fire in my soul. From rest to riches, boy, I conquered every goal.
Okay, so that is all the Sonax stuff that we have up on the shelf, and this stuff is really user friendly. This is kind of what I would call the easy sprays to use, which are really, really good products. Honestly, this one is my favorite. You put it on after you wash the car and it does all the beady stuff that you want, and it's really easy to put on. Also, now is a good time to remind you guys that we are going to Forge Action Day this weekend, 7th of September, and we're going to be bringing the Supra and the low brain car, which is why it's up on the ramp getting a little bit of maintenance, oil change and a few things buttoned up, because this thing hasn't had a bolt check in a very long time. We are also going to be bringing Dave's Ebisu S14, because me and Dave are going to be doing a little bit of a road trip over there and bringing you guys a little bit of content along the way, because we're going to be stopping off at a few garages and picking up some things along the way. So if you're coming down, it's Castle Coombe on the 7th of September. We're going to be bringing our merch tents so you can save save on all the shipping costs if you're interested in that. And also we're going to be pitted beside Sonax, and because Sonax is so good to us and they want to give back to you guys, so anyone that comes to the show in a Drift Games hoodie and interested in any Sonax products, they are going to be giving you 20% off any purchase on all the range that they have there. And also if you spend over £30 there, you get to spin the, I don't know what to call this, the Wicked Wango wheel. That sounds pretty exciting, right? So it's a wheel with loads of fantastic prizes that they're going to be giving away, giving back to you guys. So yeah, super excited to go. Apparently it's a really fast track, really fun, loads of people there, and to be fair, it's the first time we've done an event in the UK in a very long time, probably 2 years. So yeah, really looking forward to the show, and hopefully we're going to be doing a lot more shows in the UK in the near future. Go on, you rub that pipe. You know what, I think that's the first time I've seen the engine bay not dusty, and the purple looks absolutely savage next to the new colour, which is kind of a silver gold flaky thing.
Silver gold flaky thing.
It is, it's kind of, you can't see on camera.
It's almost champagne.
So yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but there is a bit of a flip to the paint.
We're up, lady.
Ooh. Maybe some painting. I don't know why it always looks really professional when you use the brush.
Because I am professional.
Professional what?
That's, you have to be desired.
Okay, so Craig and Trev are doing all the hard work right now, but I am going to have a little go at making this a little bit better with a few of the Sonax products. Right, I'm not actually sure how well this is going to go, but I'll give it a go on a small bit first. Then I'm going to use this plastic restorer gel. So literally it's 2 seconds. Dirty. Looks fresh again. Right, now I have to commit to doing the rest of it, I guess. And there we go, good as new-ish.
Alright, so boys been hustling. We got all the Sonax GB products on there. Interior especially came up like unbelievable, like a brand new car. Wayne's done a quick alignment, it's not the perfect alignment, and we still need to fit a load of different things. And we still have no wipers, so we're in and out of the showers right now. But we want to take the car out on the road to get a good, I suppose, first look at it outside of a shed since what, 12 months ago? So yeah, let's get this thing on the road. I think it looks, I'm honestly going to say, I think it's one of the nicest JZX90s we've ever seen. But I'm very biased, but let's see it on the road. Alright, so this is the first shoot on the JZX90, and usually we don't show you this, what goes wrong behind the scenes, but right now Wayne has arrived back. We're about 30 seconds from his garage, and he's got a full break-in kit because the driver's door mechanism is not working with the handle, and the other 3 doors are locked, so now the car is completely locked with the key in it. Also, on that little beautiful little, that was really nice, Josh, that little footage you did of it was lovely. Now, there was one casualty. There was one casualty.
As far as first outings go.
Before we get any further, I'm going to quote 4 hours ago Craig Coleman about the side lights on this car. He said, they won't fall out. They're well in there. Are they, Craig? Are they really well in there? Because this one looks like it's missing. So what we've done is gone back through the footage with Josh. We know where it fell out, and then after we've broken into it, we can then go take this to see if we can find the side light. And that's just to do 20 minutes of finishing this video. So you guys think this...
Also, to add in more, this gate of where we are is about to close in 10 minutes.
Yeah, so they closed this gate in 15 minutes, and yeah.
We have our locksmith there anyways, working away.
Our professional locksmith, Wayne Curran, is going to try and open the door, get the car back to the yard, put it in the garage, and then I'm going to make a very long list of things that this car needs to be completely finished. However, it does look great, and he's close. Anyway, I want to say a thank you to everybody who's been working so hard on this car over the last couple of weeks. We've been away at so many different events. I've been hustling hard on the new premises, along with a bunch of logistic stuff that's happening at the end of this month and September and October and everything. So I haven't had as much time as I'd like. So I want to give a big thank you to Andy in DRT Automotive, who's done a massive amount of work on this car. I want to give a huge thank you to Chase Bays in the USA, who came and approached us after the fire, saying if there's any build that we can get involved in. I think the Chase Bays stuff looks amazing on this car, and we'll be delving into that a little bit more in future episodes. Thank you to Link ECU. Car runs and drives perfect. They don't do the door locks, I wish they did, or sort of side light sensors would be another one, Craig Coleman, that if they said, you know, dash light came on if the side light fell out. But Link ECU, we put it into this car, we wired it all up, we did the loom, and yeah, anyway, it's good, it's professional. Car's now open, panic over, gotta go find the side light on the side of the road, and I want to say a big thank you to Joey O'Neill from O'Neill Auto Body, who smashed this full respray on this car in a very record time, and it looks like he's been spending a year at it. It's that good. So we spent a lot of late nights on it, as always, and it looks absolutely unbelievable. Thanks as always to Josh for making me drive down.
I did nothing apart from organise this shoot here.
Well, this has gone awfully wrong. Thank you to Craig for not putting the side lights in correctly. That was a big... no, Craig did a good bit of work on this. Thank you to Trevor from Supreme Reflection. He did a really good job in cleaning the interior with all the Sonax products. And we can't wait to delve more into this car. It will be on display at the LZ World Tour, hopefully with doors opening and side lights and a bunch more little trinkets that we need to put on it, like the badge on the back, and there's loads. But we'll get it there. It's only small little things. It's going to be like a day's work to get it to the finish from here. And Lloyd put on the dyno. It made 460 horsepower, which is exactly what I wanted. And she is spicy. So if you like the car, let us know in the comments. If there's any more little bits and pieces you think we should put on it, let us know in the comments as well. And hopefully the next shoot isn't as disastrous as this. We got a nice car. Poor situation, but we'll be back fighting on the next one. We're going to the UK, we're going to Forge Fest, we're bringing the Supra, we're bringing the low brain car. It's going to be great. We're going to drive the S14 there. Oh God, it's going to happen again.
It's going to be exciting.
Join us for that. Don't worry, Craig, we found it.
Bit of super glue.
We didn't find the other bit.